Hi friend, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of Witten's Stillbirth, and today we are going to get into what happens after you deliver a dead baby. So yeah, this video is going to be all of the postpartum stuff. So the next day after giving birth and saying goodbye to Witten, my husband and I had to stay in the hospital for another day and a half because during my C-section that I did not mention, my doctor sliced my bladder, so I got to have a catheter for a whole week. Yeah, so add pain on top of pain. So that was fun. So I had to stay in the hospital for an extra day and a half, and during that first day we had friends come and family come. My mom and my mother-in-law went to the funeral home, and they were just getting the service all ready and, you know, picking out his casket and just doing all of that wonderful stuff for us. And then also my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and our dads came back here to this room and took down Witten's nursery and packed it away for us so that that was something that we weren't going to have to do. I know everyone feels completely differently about what they want to do with their nursery, and at the time it just felt right for them to just, my husband especially felt that he just didn't want any of it to be in here at the time. It just hurt too much. Look, I would love to have it put up now just to remember him, but at the time, yeah, they took it down while we were still in the hospital. And then that Sunday, I gave birth on a Friday. On that Sunday afternoon, we got to go home. So a C-section, whether you have a living baby or a dead baby, is the same. Extremely painful, except that because I didn't have a baby to take care of, the recovery was a lot easier physically, because all I did was literally sleep. And then since I had to wear a catheter for a week, I didn't have to get up to go to the restroom, so I literally would just lay on the couch for hours on end. The really sucky part after having a stillbirth is that your body still thinks that the baby is here for a little bit. And my milk came in, I can't remember what day. That whole week is just mush. My milk came in, and that was really rough. Just, yeah, the smell of it and just dealing with it when you don't have a baby to feed, and just a reminder of what you're missing. And throughout the week, everyone was amazing. We got tons of meals sent to us, and you know, we were just surrounded with so much love, and everyone was taking care of us. Waylon would stay with us, or he would stay with my in-laws or my parents, and we were surrounded by so much love. And we started to plan his funeral. My mom and my mother-in-law did a majority of that. We just kind of told them like what kind of flowers we wanted and kind of a little bit of what we wanted, but they thankfully like did everything else. And it came to be a week after Witten's birth, so the Friday after. I went to my doctor's appointment and I was able to get my catheter out, which I was so happy that I wasn't gonna have to wear it at his funeral. We then met up with family for lunch, and then we had to go back to the funeral home to have our actual goodbye to Witten. And it was the first time we saw him since saying goodbye at the hospital. And we were gonna put him in the outfit he was gonna wear when he was buried and just kind of say our final goodbyes. So my husband and I went, and my mother-in-law and my mom, and then my uncle, who was officiating the funeral, if that's how you say that. And that sucked. So we got there, my husband and I drove, and my mom and my mother-in-law were already there, and my husband was extremely nervous to see him. He honestly didn't want to because he was really nervous about what he was going to look like. I knew I wanted to see him. You know, he's my son. I wanted to see him, and I kind of like talked my husband into seeing him. I don't know, this part's hard to talk about. So we went in there and we got to see him, and he, you know, already looked totally different. and his body was already deteriorating, and he had 2 like really big scabs on his cheeks that no one knows where they came from. Even the funeral home was like, we don't know what it's from. And that was really hard. But my husband held him first, and then I held him, and just the first thing I said when he placed him in my arms was like, I was like, he's so cold, he's so cold. I don't know what I was expecting. I've never held a dead body that far along before or touched one. So I don't know, it was a shock to me, because even when he was born, he was still warm and fresh out of my womb, and it was a different experience. Then he was freezing cold and stiff. And it's just really hard to hold your baby like that, you know, just see your child like that. I held him for a bit. He was still so handsome, the most handsome baby, so perfect. And he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve any of this. Okay. Keep it together. Good. And then we gave him back to my mother-in-law to get him dressed, because his body was just so deteriorated. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. My husband and I both couldn't do it. So we left the room to just kind of sit and cry a bit and soak it in and take it in. And she got him dressed. And he wore a onesie that my mom had made for him that said little brother, and Waylon still has the matching shirt that says big brother, and it has their names on it. So he wore that onesie, and then we wrapped him up in this swaddle and matching hat that I had bought for him, which is another one that I really wanted him to wear. Not the same one he wore in the hospital. We kept that one for us. And then at the hospital, the nurses were so amazing to Waylon, with giving him toys and things, and they gave him this little tiny like bunny bunny bear thing that Waylon named Big Brother Bear, and that's what we was in the coffin with Witten, that bear. So after she got him dressed, we held him some more, and then my husband went and was the one to place him in the casket. It was a beautiful white casket, little box, little casket, and they're so small. I just remember watching him do it and thinking in that moment, like, he did it with such love, and he was so delicate placing him in there. It's like, I don't know, just so angry that he should be placing him in a crib or a bassinet, not in his casket. But I'll always have that memory of him just being so delicate and loving placing him in there. And then we just spent some more time with him and said our goodbyes, and then left the next day, Saturday, August 24th. We held his funeral. It was a beautiful outside service at his grave. My husband and I spoke at it, and it was just really beautiful. And we had so many family members come. We were very supported and loved. And then after the funeral, we asked everyone to leave except immediate family. And each of Witten's cousins, our nieces and nephews, and Waylon had picked out flowers ahead of time, and they placed them on Witten's casket. And then we watched them place it in the ground. And that was another moment that I'll never forget. Just wanting so badly to jump in there with him. Just jump in that hole, you know, just bury me with him, like. Sorry. And then after that, we had like a little reception at my in-laws, and it was just nice to hang out with our friends. Everyone just kept us in as best spirits as possible, and we got to share pictures of Witten with everyone. There were so many people that didn't get to meet him that I wish could have gotten to meet him at the hospital, but it was just a really weird time, and you know, looking back, so many things would have been done differently, but you know, you do the best that you can, and everyone who has had to go through this, everyone chooses different things, so it's all just what you feel and what you're comfortable with, and it's, you know, it's perfectly okay. So yeah, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Like a week after his funeral, my husband and I went back up to the funeral home to create or design his memory memorial marker tombstone thingy. and yeah, that came in pretty quickly. And that's that one on so that was his funeral and everything. That was all within a week. And then postpartum wise, healing from the C-section, I healed a lot better because, you know, like I said, I wasn't taking care of a baby. I was literally just laying on the couch 99% of the time. But it was really hard and crazy to leave the hospital fully pregnant and leave without your baby and come home to an empty nursery and, you know, bassinets and swings sitting around your home. And I remember the nighttime being so quiet, and I hated it. It was so quiet. You know, you're supposed to have this crying baby throughout the night, and here I am just chilling watching Netflix. Like, oh, I hated it. It was awful. And finally my milk eventually dried up. Took way too long. I literally had cabbage in my bra for weeks. And yeah, physically I healed really quickly. Emotionally and mentally not. I am today, you're not seeing this video, but today is October 16th 2020, and today actually marks 14 months since his birth and his death. So 14 months out, and I am still a wreck. I am still a mess. Each month does not get easier. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be honest and real. If you came here to like think that it gets better, it doesn't. Actually, the first couple of months after having Witten, I was still in shock. So like when I say in shock, like I did not cry often. Like you would think that a woman who just lost her child would be sobbing everywhere. That was not me. I literally was just a zombie that was just walking around and doing activities that I had to get done. Like I was literally a shell of a human being. And then about at the 2-month mark is when that started to lift, and I started to really comprehend and come back down to earth and comprehend what had happened. And that's when the flashbacks, like the true PTSD, started to kick in, and I started sobbing a lot more. My heart physically hurt all the time. Like I know what they say when you die of a broken heart, because my heart was literally broken. And that's just when, yeah. Oh, that's when it began, 2 months later. And the sucky part is that 2 months after is when everyone else starts forgetting, or everyone else starts to move on with their lives and think that you're fine when you're not even close. Like I needed people around me or there to support me more at the 2-month mark than I needed them at the funeral, to be honest. Like that's when stuff started to hurt. really bad. So check on your friends all of the time. And that's also when the holiday season came, and all of those firsts and all of those things without him was just really hard. I just remember a lot of sobbing, a lot of anger. Still to this day, same feelings. So nothing's changed. I'm very sad and very angry. But now I'm getting better at carrying it, I guess. Since we do have a living son, I know some people don't after their stillbirth. But having to parent Waylon has been extremely tough, and helping him through his grief. There's been tons of sobbing nights for him. For a long time, he had separation anxiety. He couldn't be away from us. He couldn't be in a different room from my husband and I. Lots of tears. He slept in our room for months and months. Probably a whole year, I think. It was really hard on him. He was afraid of going to sleep. He was afraid of dying and us dying. And we're finally at a point 14 months later where he's feeling more confident, and we've been able to work through it and all of that. But that's just kind of what it looks like when you have other children that you have to parent and how they take it. And I can do a whole video about that. But I think that's all I can think of right now when it comes to all of that. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have been through this loss, I'm here for you. If you have not, I hope that any of my videos help raise awareness and help you understand what maybe a friend or family member may be going through. And yeah, make sure to follow me. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.